this is sort of the prelude to the Dance of Dragons. I don't know if we're going to see this in the show. There have been some set photos that people have said it is kind of fun because the big thing is everyone's speculating on where is this going to start on Reddit. Everyone's like, with all the leaked photos, everyone's like, man, is this person's funeral? It seems like there's going to be a funeral in season 1. So don't know who that's going to be. I find it hard to believe that it's going to be Viserys. So who knows? So anyway, so this is sort of the prelude to the Dance of Dragons. So King Viserys I Targaryen has 3 children by his first queen, Aemma Arryn, but only one, Princess Rhaenyra, survived to adulthood. Lacking a son to succeed him, Viserys began to train Rhaenyra to be his heir. Young Rhaenyra was included in discussions of the affairs of state and was allowed to participate in meetings of the small council. Many of nobles took note, and Rhaenyra soon acquired a clique of adherents and supporters. After the passing of Queen Aemma in 105 AC, Viserys named Rhaenyra his heir, and hundreds of lords and landed knights paid obeisance to her. Viserys' declaration disregarded precedents from 92 AC and 101 AC. The king remarried in 106 AC, this time to Alicent Hightower, and had 4 more children: Aegon, Helaena, Aemond, and Daeron. In 111 AC, a great tourney was held at King's Landing on the 5th anniversary of Viserys' marriage to Alicent. During the opening feast, Queen Alicent wore a green gown, while Princess Rhaenyra dressed in the red and black of House Targaryen. Note was taken, and thereafter it became custom to refer to the greens and the blacks when talking of the Queen's party and the party of the princess, respectively. Wearing Rhaenyra's favor, Sir Criston Cole unhorsed all of Alicent's champions in the tourney, including 2 of her cousins and her youngest brother, Sir Gwayne Hightower. Viserys I strengthened Rhaenyra's place in the succession by marrying her in 114 AC to Sir Laenor Velaryon, who himself had Targaryen blood through his mother, Princess Rhaenys. The marriage causing a fallout between Rhaenyra and Criston, Rhaenyra gave birth to 3 sons, Jacaerys, Lucerys, and Joffrey Velaryon. During her marriage, although there were rumors that the father of these princes was not Laenor, but Sir Harwin Strong. After Laenor was murdered in Spicetown in 120 AC, Rhaenyra married her uncle, Prince Daemon Targaryen, younger brother to Viserys I. His sons by him were Aegon the Younger, called so to distinguish from his uncle, Alicent's Aegon, who on occasion was called Aegon the Elder, and then also Viserys was his other. The relationship between Rhaenyra and Alicent declined early in Alicent's marriage to Viserys, since both ladies had been trying to be the realm's first lady, and there could only be one. As a consequence of their bad relation, Alicent's son did not take to Rhaenyra's sons. Alicent's father, Sir Otto Hightower, had also disliked Rhaenyra's second husband, Prince Daemon, since the beginning of Viserys' reign, though the exact reasons are unknown. So I think actually, as first of all, Sir Criston Cole, this was announced I think maybe a week or 2 ago, is going to be in the series. There is an actor who's playing him. Fabian Frankel is the actor's name. And you and I just looked him up in IMDb, and he's been in 2 things. I mean, that's it. Has not been in a lot from what I can find. He was in it looks like a small role in some movie that also stars Emilia Clarke. That's like a Christmas, sort of throwaway Christmas movie. Looks like he was in some NYPD Blue episode or something, and that's it. So,
wow.
So cool that we're getting him, but hey, getting some of these new younger actors and stuff like that. But I think this to me sounds an awful lot like maybe season 1, or do we?
Yeah, see that I mean, you have Viserys, right? That's the big casting. We have King Viserys there. So during all of this, are we going to see? Is that on the beach? I keep thinking about the leaked kind of photo. Is that Rhaenyra walking with her uncle, talking about the new queen who's showing up? and that being like Alicent Hightower. I just think that would be kind of crazy. That might give us a better idea of when this is taking place. So maybe it's like her mother has passed and some time has gone by, and she's getting a stepmom or something. I don't know. It's just because that's the big issue, is that you have the Hightowers come in. Alicent, Otto Hightower, Hand of the King, wants his daughter to marry in here. They're now elevated in power, and now his grandsons will sit the throne, he's hoping. But Rhaenyra has been promised the throne. She's promised the throne, which is also why her uncle is very close to her. And like I said last week, looked like he was intimately walking with her on that beach. So, yeah, I feel like you have to show us some of that, right? You have to see the prelude to this, and we have to get invested and understand the dynamics of what's happening in King's Landing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another thing we have to take in mind, even though there's the Game of Thrones had a more direct, here's what happens, and they're like, yeah, we got to move some of the stuff around, cut it up, move it around. This is a rough outline in sorts, essentially. That does not mean that they at all have to adhere to even like the outline we have of all of these events, because these are more just like sort of bullet points. Here's what happens. Here's what happens. There's nothing really direct and sort of, this is exactly what is said in the chapter.
Yeah.
So it's possible that this may move around. I think that it's going to take them a couple seasons, I would say, to build the Daemon Rhaenyra relationship before they're sort of together. I think is going to be a thing. And I think a lot of this stuff, the more I think about it, I think it's going to be condensed, really. Mm-hmm. I don't know that it's going to feel like it's supposed to be like, really, this whole thing takes place over like, I mean, it's years that a lot of these events sort of take place. I'm starting to think not so much. I think it's gonna be a show, and it's gonna be what it is. But I don't think we're gonna see sort of, oh, he was gone for a year, or 6 months. It's gonna be just the events, and it'll feel more like Game of Thrones, which is actually a shorter time span. So that seems like it makes more sense. But I think this will end up, once you watch it in its completion, will feel like this was way shorter than the supposed 10 years or whatever it is that it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I totally think you're right, because I really believe they're going to use dialogue, like going back to that beach and then walking. What conversation is being said there? Like, is Daemon Targaryen talking about her husband, Laenor Velaryon, who maybe did not father those children, or are we even to that point yet? Are they just talking about like will we see him kind of hint that he could potentially be romantically interested in Rhaenyra, but she's married? Is the death that's been rumored, remember there's like a funeral possibly that they're gathering for. I mean, are they going to jump right to that with Rhaenyra? Like, is that something that could happen earlier than we think? Maybe that her husband actually is killed and Daemon has something to do with that, paying a few people off. Yeah, what's going to be the start of all of this? And I also really believe that we have to understand, and it could just be through dialogue, that her being married into House Velaryon is a big deal, because it is going to the Targaryen blood. Her Rhaenys Targaryen was the queen who was passed over. The whole 101 AC council situation where you go to Viserys to be king and you pass over Rhaenyra, who was older and who maybe was further up in the line, but she is, female, so you passed her over. Rhaenyra's dealing with that, and she's actually married into the family, who Rhaenyra is associated with now. So, yeah, all that can be just talked about in dialogue, and we don't have to go, like you said, bouncing around over great years to show us all of that. It's just the characters are talking about the history of their circumstances, and I think that's where we'll get all those blanks kind of filled in for us. But yeah, we got to see all this set up, and it's all going to drive towards, I think, the end of season 1. Viserys is dead, and freaking Sir Criston Cole, who is out here, who is, by the way, wearing Rhaenyra's favor and defeating Alicent's champions, right? So in that tournament, Sir Criston Cole is with Rhaenyra, and we know that later he will make the choice to switch sides. Was he, upset with her marriage to Laenor Velaryon. The way you read it in Fire and Blood and A World of Ice and Fire, it seems like Sir Criston Cole was always putting her advances off and really didn't want anything to do with Rhaenyra and her kind of infatuation with him. But there's a big shift. There's a big shift, and we're going to see, maybe at the end of season 1, something like this happen where that think about that, right? As season 1 develops, Sir Criston Cole, close to Rhaenyra, would then drift apart and gravitate towards a new player, Alicent Hightower, and how that would work for storytelling. I think it'd be awesome. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be awesome. I'm with you too. We heard about Robert's Rebellion. We heard about Rhaegar Targaryen. It wasn't until way late that we even got like a shot of him on screen, right? Like that's the end, right, where we're going to see that sort of marriage. So I think that's going to be, I think it's going to feel the same, where we're like, man, there was some big event that happened just before this. And that's sort of where we're at. So it's going to be cool, guys. I'm excited for it. House of the Dragon, April 2022. Coming to HBO Max near you. So